I wouldn't be surprised if something like an Ezreal Ben also comes through. That's the other AD carry, the because for a lot of AD carries, just playing into this, if you don't get huge laning leads, is going to be tough. There's also the opportunity for G2 to go for a support counter pick, which can skew some of Kai'Sa's weaker matchups, where I think really her struggles often are in lane, is going to get taken off the board.
Not a final AD carry ban for G2 though, but a very effective peel champion in the Alistar. Like you already said, you've got a dive comp. You've got one of the few AD carries that can dive along with it. This is looking like a real torpedo coming out from G2 Esports in the first half of the draft. So being able to shut down Furia's ability to stop that dive, I like what I'm seeing. Now, do Furia want to ban one more top laner? Yes, they do. They will keep the Gwen away from Broken Blade.
And looking at this, the Renata to me kind of stands out as something that G2 probably wants to be very careful of. The Nico is still open. That's been one of the most popular counters into the Renata. Obviously, when it comes to the laning, if you are already fully committed to playing this type of lifestyle composition, I think Renata is really good day. And this is something that was banned so many times. Broken Blade, and it looks like those
looking for early positioning here in the side brush, but IU is going to see Hansama there.
Broken Blade there. You already highlighted true, like you can
The solo
straight up,
queue style.
you can straight up 1v2 or 1v2, right? If the enemy jungler shows up, very important that ward also highlighted. We see the ping, they did see it go down, but Broken Blade wasn't really in a position to get ganked because he did get his crash, so was just backing off. But there was also the knowledge on G2. I think also Jojo showed up a little bit late towards lane. Bot lane though, already see a very early battle for Stout, and I'm talking about the flaming strength of Tyson. But if you get an early lead, and also the Poppy obviously does really
On the
shape
graph, I think G2 is slightly better because of Poppy and stuff. I like Poppy more, but Warwick, I don't know, man. Warwick doesn't do well in team fight. If he ahead, then maybe, but if he behind, even with ult, he cannot contribute anything to the team fight. Cannot, like he got explode instantly when he jump in. Oh no. Never mind.
Just again, trying to constantly be as aggressive as you can, using those Qs on cooldown with the Warwick. Nice slam to the wall there from Lavrov on this Poppy. Steadfast presence on the back end of things just to try to make it so if Jojo jumps in and then tries to battle dance back out, he will be interrupted. And I do want to keep an eye on how effective Lavrov is with these steadfast presences this game. It's very powerful against Rakan. It also has pretty great effect against Zinja, Leland, and Aatrox as well. Just super, super good pick, I think, here in the R5 for G2. Broken Blade.
And it also takes it out.
Blade had to flash away. Gigo nearly got nailed at 4. That was death's door for all.
No. That W is good. That Aatrox play very well because he W from far away, so the Warwick cannot counter with his Q to get out of Q. That Aatrox Q range. This game Aatrox really.
Flashes away from it so he doesn't get hit by the CC, but Gigo's gonna need the Qs to come back up yet again. Q2 hits! First blood solo kill for Gigo in the top lane! Broken Blade is down, but now G2 looking for a counter punch here in the bottom side instead. Ayu gets way back up, but now down is away to try to escape. Flash!
Bro, what?
And G2 evens up the score.
Really big that they get the kill there onto Ayu because they needed to make a unforced error there.
Clean. To be honest.
So G2 again, understandably, that you want to try and get Drake as well. You just got a successful play off towards the bot side. As we take a look here, and if you have barrier, I can see this work, right? Like, that's something that we often go towards. Even then, I think it is really risky, but you have so much build and sustain on the passive on your W. But even without that level up, like this wasn't particularly close. And you see, because well knows this was, it didn't even feel like it was a necessity, right? The situation where like if you waste it, or you need to, at least it's fine.
We might just have another problem here. Gigo's trying to fizzle into another solo kill. Gigo is making Broken Blade look foolish in this 1v1. The first one, it happens.
Like even with E, even with damage reduction from E, Aatrox Q, the sweet spot is too strong. You cannot just face tank it. Remember, just too confident of his E, I guess.
JoJo, who did go for the break after Cat only needed the single charge before he was out. Still going to go in the mid lane at the same time. It looks like Furia.
You don't know Mario or Topic. No way, G2 lose to Brazil, bro. Brazil, bro.
Spike feels okay, but particularly when you get to that traditional break point for AD carries, you know, the free item spike, when you get all your crit online, she becomes so tanky because with the amount of healing that's in her kit,
Yeah,
as you get
Lila skill also kind of strong compared to Kai'Sa. Of course, Kai'Sa will be stronger again, but based on the engage from Sinzao and Nyla plus Marka crazy. Wow, no way! No way! Oh, he have to flash! No way! No way! No way! Rocket Blade didn't do nothing, right? Rocket Blade just pressed all. That's all he did. Yeah, that all was crazy. Oh, no, oh no.
I think he would have gotten out, especially with the Talia passive. If he just gets to the turret, I think he Might have been fine. Cap still did have flash, so maybe he dies nonetheless. But that's definitely going to stay now. Goal lead.
The return for the Q2. Nah, that was quick finger from Skillmon, actually.
So it's not like Fury starting towards a Drake stacking win condition. Really. Got 3 grabs, that's going to feel nice, but it was only a down payment objective, right? There's still going to be plays, just didn't be able to get turrets with him to really get great value. And if G2 is commanding a solid goal, it's that much harder to make that happen. Broken Blade obviously has been the one struggling the most in the early game here for G2, but on the Warwick now, just continuing to try to farm up, make sure that he stays relevant for when it gets time for those bigger fights, so that they can deal with Furia in a team fight scenario.
Let's see the ward getting spotted there.
Oh boy. Broken Blade defensive ulti, trying to walk away. Skewmond flashing out of the way there of the seismic shove and unraveled earth. Remember, you can't use the vault breaker over it or the rocks are going to interrupt you. Uses the flash instead since it's a blink and manages to get to safety. But that first turret is going to fall and it'll be Furia taking it. There is the payday on the grubs right there for Toots and Furia.
Will be answered by a turret towards the bot lane. I do think, although it looks like Hans instead going to go for the base, which makes sense because Herald is spawning in about 15 seconds. So minions are going to crash here. TP not quite available for Gigo just yet, and Skewmont does get found here.
Yeah, Skewmont
TP
trying to get out of this one. Furia's ready to commit to it. Toots is coming in. We're going to need to see a seismic shove, but Lebrov and Caps playing protection, stopping this from working out. Broken Blade thinking about joining up with the fight if he needs to, but instead goes back to shove out one more wave. Does have the Tiamat now on the Warwick for the extra wave push capability. Charm onto Tatu, followed up by Lebrov. Furia now in full defense mode. G2 doesn't get any kills. Significant damage onto 3 separate health bars for control over the Rift Herald.
And that should be the call from
Just
Furia to just
hope
not contest this, right? The health bar's already battered. Gigo has the opportunity to take a turret towards the bottom side of the map, but the value of this Poppy, I think we're only going to see more and more of as this game continues. The ability to turn fights into a moment's notice, get yourself a numbers advantage as the Herald goes through, is traded. So right now, Furia ahead. Once the Herald comes down,
yeah, but I lost 2
towards
towers,
mid lane often
so I guess
there
this
just
fine.
to ensure that you get as much map
I
control.
got a hero, so
Nicely done by
maybe
Gigo
you
to take
saw
that turret down there
something,
in
but
bottom lane, and
I doubt
we
we
now
can
have
get a
a battle
tower
for the boots.
anytime
It's
soon.
Warfare reclaimed by G2. The first turret was claimed by Furia. Both teams now sitting on 2 neutral objectives. If Skewmond gets caught out a little bit here, Exhaust will be committed on that one. They're going to put the quickness into it as well. Skewmond nearly dead, but not quite. And it'll be Gigo taking the 3rd kill of the game for Furia. All 3 kills on this top lane Aatrox. This is the man. This is the raid boss for the Brazilian team.
And the composition for G2 is obviously extremely short range. That is the type of situations where, as an Aatrox, if you are fed, if your team buys enough space for you, you can really pop off. The downside for Furia, there isn't an objective right now to get. Also, they did invest a decent amount of cooldowns, but they should be available in about 50 seconds when that dragon spawns. Looking at the Cloud Drake, obviously, big fan. The movement speed always very valuable. Looking at some of the ultimates, there's some characters where like, yeah, you know, Talia, Warwick, your captain plays, but on Aatrox now, on Ahri, or on Akaisa, and Rakan obviously is another one. Even the Nila, it kind of goes hard.
And I mean, even if we're not considering the ultimate boost, just the basic movement speed boost that you get from the soul is always... movement speed and range are the 2 strongest stats in League of Legends,
just
right?
Walk.
Like, yeah, just walk faster than the guy can dash. You don't have a problem. As Gigo might have a problem here. It's a 3-man play coming in from the side of G2. Lebrov and Skewmon ready to join up for this one. But the early flash from Gigo to get himself out of the range of danger guarantees that G2's collapse will not result in a kill. They've still overloaded this bottom lane. They're still looking to force down the Tier 1 turret, and they should be able to get away with it. But now Furia pushing the Tier 1 over in mid at the same time. Broken Blade might get cut off. Tag with the wind becomes lightning. Toots trying to get away alongside Ayu, but Toots is going to be your target as Hans Sama looks for a little bit more damage. Apotheosis from Ayu. A lot of damage back into Skewmon. Tatu's coming in. Ayu's got the kill into Skewmon, and now Broken Blade's in the middle of everybody. A double kill back over to Nila. G2 have lost 2.
No, Aatrox kill everyone. GG.
Caught out. Shot down. Triple kill. Ayu.
Guys, that's a Nila! Just jump into her like that! it's a delayed engage. It's kind of
Nah,
staggered from G2.
get me out, bro.
Ayu might
Get
straight up
me
die.
out. What is this?
Yeah,
What am I
Should
looking
be fine.
at?
okay, he's good. He had the minion.
Fine.
He had the minion. It was
Oh my
calculated.
god, the
He's good.
mode
So
game on
bad.
as well.
So bad.
He's got this, and at the same time, Furia has now earned themselves control over the bottom side river. Yes, they barely miss out on the tier 1 turret mid lane. 1 minion auto attack will kill that later on. The dragon is going to go over to Tatu. Han Sama in a bad spot here, has enough distance to escape the infernal chains. But what about the Rakan? What about the grand entrance? What about Han Sama's exit? Furia 7-3, 2,000 gold ahead.
And G2, these traps from Furia, they keep falling for it as we take
Whatever,
another look here.
man.
The big thing, again, with Neela is that if you don't 100 to 0 her, it's so hard to actually get value. And instead, it looks like they're going on Tuts, but this is a Talia, right? Actually getting on top of her is kind of hard, and they just don't have the damage with just the two. They're kind of caught off guard, I think, by the amount of people that are ready. Gigo even comes in from the back there. And a lot of the previous...
That's
bro.
what with this
I don't think
too
we have time to
squishy.
talk about
He
previous
deals zero
plays, my
damage.
friend. We're already into the
He deals
match,
zero
and
damage,
Rob
and
is
he's super
already going
squishy.
back to Fountain.
And on the previous kills, even the
Whatever.
solo kills,
GG.
I don't think those were necessarily of too much value because they're just kills. It's a little bit of money. But as we saw, the gold lane didn't meaningfully change. But now, the Drake went over, right? Mid lane turret has fallen for G2. They are rapidly losing control of this game. And if we start to see an Otacon setup here, that is a possibility for G2 to find an angle back. I've seen so many teams not respect the fact that Otacon turns everyone on your team into a paperback. So I do hope that Fury is careful that the B1 Talia, though, for me, is the biggest pickup as all.
Jojo stepping in there to intercept the charm from Caps, guarantee that Ayu does not get caught out. Caps did spin the Spirit Rush on that. We'll see if Furia can find a chance to use that window to punish, but G2 is instead going to give them another problem to think about, summoning up the Rift Herald from earlier here in the mid lane. The tier 1 turret will die just to the charge alone, so they'll claim that one. Rift Herald will not be able to get the charge off onto the tier 2 turret, or at least should not be able to get that to it. But we're going to where will be the real test for Furia. I do want to give them credit. I do want to commend them for what they did. Very impressive. First 20 minutes of the game, building a 3,000 goal lead, taking the feeds, taking in terms of objectives. But now we're at that point where traditionally we've seen teams from Brazil struggle to be able to control the objective, play the map, and convert leads to
The actual close-up, right? Like, again, I think they're in a really good position right now. When talking about the scale, it's conversation. There are Neela feels like unless you get like a 5-man ultimate, the value is not always quite as high as when they go on LeBron, but they're not going to find anyone just yet. But when it comes to, again, a full short-range comp on the enemy team, those wards actually paying off as Broken Blade.
Here we go again, Infernal Chains hit, and that forces out the flash. So BB's gonna live on this one, but that's all he'll do. Now that ward might be effective.
And there's no limit on the Aatrox. The vision, so he is checking. The Poppy, for me, is one of the reasons why I think Fury still need to be very respectful.
Yeah.
You might be feeling confident, but at any moment's notice, you can suddenly be 2 members down. Oh, Tadu?
Yeah, let's see here. Tatu, Broken Blade, gets gives himself away to safety, but now he's not ready to join up because Caps is over the top lane to take down that turret instead, as the Otacon is down to half HP. Fury's got 5 men down here. Ayu's the one tanking on that Otacon, though, and you gotta be careful. If Ayu gets debuffed, you're gonna have
There
a problem.
it is.
Lebrov wants to find the Keeper's Verdict, but he doesn't find anything.
Someone
Tatu
go
jumping from the gate,
in.
immediately the quickness back on Lebrov. The Poppy in some danger. Guigo
No,
ready to follow
GG.
up.
It's over.
Lebrov not going anywhere except a black and white screen as Otacon is claimed by Furia. Gigo even now right back up into the top side. Caps
To
will
let
get the
him
tier
know.
2 tournament, and yes he will, but can he get away at the same time? A flash for a flash as Caps has a blast cone to get himself away to safety. Caps will find some global gold for his team, but the Otacon goes to Furia.
And
Should
Broken
I?
didn't have a...
That,
The
it's
Poppy
fine.
was too obvious. I think he got 1 flash, but it didn't get any of the members, which really is what you're looking for. And then your only member with a substantial gold lead, who also had his death cap finished, wasn't even there, right? And I think that makes sense. G2 doesn't really want the fight. They just want to try and look for a steal on the Otacon.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can have caps TP in, but the moment that the Poppy ult doesn't hit, that's just kind of it. There isn't really a way that you can fight with the lead that Fury have available right now. And these leads are just being stacked upon each other. There is still 4G2. When it comes to the item finishes, not too much of a deficit. But this Drake fight, this might be a breaking point. If Soul Point is picked up, could be really big, because I think having Soul Point means that your macro decisions down like it's so much easier. Because at any point, you just give up a dragon or two and make a play towards an inhib, make a play towards the Baron. But I talk about simplifying decision making. I feel like Fury don't need the simplification, because thus far, that third Drake just being given over here.
I've been very impressed with the game so far from Furia, and now moving on to Soul Point. This just shows how critical it was earlier that G2 did manage to secure that second Drake for themselves. Yeah. Imagine if this is a 24-minute Cloud Soul for Furia instead. All of a sudden, if you're G2, you're saying, oh, let's look ahead to the second game.
G2, we've seen some staggered engages, we've seen some missed timings, I think in particular, looking at that top side play from BB, right? And then Skewmon coming in, timing not quite there. Looking at the mid lane play where they're trying to find what looks like a punish, end up falling for the trap instead. And now the Baron is up. The one thing that G2, outside of the Poppy, does have is the ability to take out any member if it is a soul member. And I think that that is going to be one of their biggest abilities. And I think we're starting to see them set up for that as well. Is trying to just find a side lane catch. Their single target CC and damage, absolutely outrageous, but there is a defensive ward there. Oh,
this could be a huge... This is the most fed member of Furia, and he is now getting caught out. If Gigo dies before the fight starts, G2 might have just found the pick to turn the game on its head. The shutdown over to Skewmon, but it will be traded back 1 for 1. Ayu. Now Ayu's on the shoot, but he's isolated.
Pick cinema. Oh, noise over. So
tries to fight back, but the dog's been declawed, and Broken Blade is down again. Right when it looks like G2 found their moment, Furia found G2.
No shit.
Straight up, and G2, they look for the side lane pick. But taking out his Aatrox takes so much longer than I think they bargained for, and it's again the response from Furia. The immediate rest of the team arriving in a moment's notice. And then on the other end of the fight, obviously, G2, having blown everything, trying to kill this Aatrox, that was... He is 6 levels up on Lebrov, right? Like, actually taking him down with the heal that comes through from the Aatrox, with the heal from his ultimate, it just takes too long. It takes too many cooldowns. And then this to Leah value is just being... The amount of picks that we've seen it's amazing.
No. You're gonna heal all.
The inhibitor turret in mid lane broken as the inhibitor is about to follow. Gigo is back in the base, but he's got his teleport. He's joining back up with the rest of Furia. It's a 5-man push with a Baron against 3 G2 defenders. Furia has made their way onto the Nexus turrets. The first is already down. G2 are out of sorts. They can't defend. Away from the Oasis just to survive, but the rest of G2 cannot do the same. Furia win the first game of MSI 2025. And the crowd goes wild. And the stage
into a full-on dive composition. Ended up being a stroke of genius. Add to that the performance of Gigo individually and the way the team played around him. What an opening here!
What an incredible first game from Furia. That was exactly what TA South fans wanted to see. I feel like that's what international fans wanted to see with the Twin Regions. That was a show. Let's go ahead and move on to the analyst break it all down.
Thank you so much, Sam. Speechless. Oh my God. What a stance from GAM. Furia is the first multi organization. Goes into the first set for all the players as well. Yeah. Oh my God. The thing that I was most afraid of is like, okay, I can Furia beating G2, but the way it has to happen is that they cannot play scared because I still think G2 have better map play. They did not play scared. They immediately attacked, really punished G2's mistakes. Amazing.
You can see Thinkard right in front of you, the coach for the team. Whenever he is on the mic, team is. He's like, how do you not believe in us? And if you just see how this game started, you can instantly see how good Furia started off.
G2 will step up.
It definitely
Yeah.
starts. I'm so glad we highlighted the top lane going into this because it starts in that top lane, right? With Gigo getting the better of Broken Blade
On his own!
right off the bat. He immediately gets his flash at 4:30, follows up with first blood coming out, and then just becomes this raid boss for his team.
You're right. The flash, he gets Tether into Q3. He flashes, obviously, the fear from Warwick. He plays this out so well. A lot of times, when you're going Warwick into somebody, they don't know the matchup as well as the Warwick does. It's not like Gigo knew this much better than Broken Blade in this instance. Of course, the second time around, tried to get his wave in. He had the vibe, of course, doing objectives. So, like, that was really detrimental to the team, obviously, and Gigo used that as a great confidence for the rest of the game.
Seeing them so calm and collected backstage here, getting ready for the second game. I'm worried as an LEC fan. I'm so excited as a League of Legends fan, honestly. And something that is really special about this game and about this victory is the fact that we are used to underdog teams actually performing well and surprising the expected team to win in the early game, but they kept the ball rolling. It was their game to win. G2 had no chance here, and as we know, every second counts, and thanks to the reliable Cisco network, IU, we hyped him up. He was able to stomp G2 with an easy triple kill.
Yeah, and I think the confidence coming out of IU, he has 75% on
Like 30% play. The other half is that shitty dog ass team fight in the mid lane, bro.
The TP from Gigo making it basically a 5v3. So when Warwick comes by, he's already out. Like, can't play that fight. So it feels like Furia is being able to play the fights both from a mechanical standpoint very well, from a strategic standpoint even better.
Yeah, and that is the big difference maker for me, is like, okay, when I was going into this matchup, I was like, where do I think G2 have the advantage? Again, it was in neutral objective setups, and it was in how they play the map. The great thing that Furia did here was, their map play was pretty good, but then additionally, the way they set up these team fights, the way they used this composition to isolate G2 members, or when a G2 member did come in, the ability to absolutely stuff them, that dragon fight rounds was insane.
Yeah. And you know the Audicon start, Emily? We've watched a lot of...
We've watched a lot of bad Audicons.
A lot of bad Audicons. That one made me a little scared. A little bit. But they played it out so well. The fact that, Tatu flashed out of the Poppy ulti and then held his Q3, the knock-up, just to be able to re-engage. They are so ready for any situation with a lead. I did not expect this level from Furia.
I mean, that's the thing. I thought G2 might come back in the game, but every time, it was like the unit, the very good unit, all of them wanting to strike back. I love the synergy from this team. Look at this thing. You feel like G2 is able to make the best of it. You have the whole team running at them and just making the best out of it.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is they being so comfortable as a team fighting together, as we see IU coming in off the pack, then flashing over the wall to join the rest of his team. I really, really loved the way they
a team from either Brazil, or we're going to be seeing, of course, GAM later on today. We talk about how talented they are within their own region. We don't expect them to be able to immediately translate that on the international stage. That is happening for them in day one, or at least in game one. And just being able to hear the fans from Brazil, Fury saying Dia de Furia, like it's the day of Fury, like this is going to be the day. It kind of feels like it, but it's a 5-game series. They could come back, G2 could be able to like basically be ready for game 2 and come back quickly.
They started the tournament in the best way possible. They had the fans behind them because most of the fans were cheering for them during this game. Do we call this the first game? I don't want to say yes, because how do we gauge this first game when it comes to G2 and what Furia is going to be able to do for the rest of the series? Because again, it is fearless. G2 might have international experience, but this was Furia's game.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it was luck. I think Furia did play this out really, really well.
Yeah.
Going into G2's next game, I think what they're going to want to do is really pay attention to their draft. Again, I thought the Ari was actually good for Caps, but again, get him on something like
that one haymaker you can throw in game 1, for me, that was the Neela. And so I am more interested in if they can go the long run for from the draft perspective to have more things in the tank. That's going to be my preference for the rest of the series.
Is there any advice you would be thinking of right now? Any advice you would give your players to keep the momentum going and grab this game?
Keep playing with confidence. Like that's the big thing to me, right? Is whenever we have some of these mismatches and we're like, okay, you know, this team is going in as an underdog. You need to play with confidence. You need to play their game, and that's exactly what Fury did.
Adrenaline can come in hot, especially on an international stage like this. So, like, be able to, yes, feed off that confidence, but remind them the good things that they were doing strategically. That good things, don't forget about it. The adrenaline is running too high. So
Yeah,
sober
probably
second
to
player
pick
remains
side on
Slow and
something,
steady. They
bro.
have this so far in the first game. Furia with the upset, with the surprise victory against G2 Esports. Let's see if they can keep this one going for game 2. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Let me throw it to the ground, make them turn around. This is what I do. I'm a dog, not afraid to fight in the darkest night.
What a car. Living the dream, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Vancouver, Canada here for MSI 2025. We are one game into our first best of five, and that game did not go the way that 85% of fans expected it to go, Chronicler.
It certainly didn't. And as I highlighted, I think neither of us were ready to believe when the first couple of kills came through, because we still saw the gold lead for G2.
Yeah.
I think there was still this sense of, all right, around the objectives, around the team fight, around the macro on the map, they'll be able to pull it together. That moment never came. And a lot of that was due to the ability of Furia to consistently, across the map, set up these traps. The Aatrox, the Neela, these attempted engages that just weren't quick, weren't I think coordinated enough so that the sustain comes through, the reinforcements come in, and the play gets turned.
And even as recently as at the end of Split 1, when the LTA North and South teams had the head-to-head for conference play, one thing that we saw from a lot of the LTA South teams was they could get early advantages, but then when the mid-game came around, they wouldn't be able to convert those into wins. But that was not the case here in game number 1. Furia was playing as a unit. They were punishing G2 when they tried to make any sort of a move, and they honestly ended that game very swiftly and effectively.
Now, I have had my fair share of best of fives where game 1 looks like a blowout, but remember, I've seen teams then swiftly follow this up with recalibration into a swift freeze. We saw this at the first and finals, right? Remember, back then, K-Corp able to get a very, very big win in that game number 1, and then Home Life tightened it up.
Yeah.
Was able to pull the series back. For G2, I do think we need to see that in this game number 2. I think that the downside of being such a heavy favorite in the fan sentiment, many people, me included, were expecting this to be a swift 3-0. If you go down 0-2, the amount of mental resilience needed is tenfold of what it would be if this turns out to be a 1-1. You know, you pull back and everything is fine.
Right. Let's go ahead and jump into our second draft here as it's Jace, Misfortune, and Yasuo. Banned by G2 here on the blue side. Swap saves this time. On the other side, so one thing that's worth pointing out, Varus and Misfortune were both banned out by G2 in round 1 of the previous draft. This time around, since G2's on blue side and they have that first pick, they'll keep the Misfortune banned, but they'll take the Varus for themselves. Furia, in response, they're going to grab the Rise for one of their solo lanes, can be a flex for either one. And Wukong in the jungle, this is a champion that immobile AD carries do not like to deal with.
No, I do love the Yasuo ban. That one should be a no-brainer, right? Given IU's performance of the champion, the Wukong also would have paired really well with that. I'm a little worried about the Maokai. I think that Maokai is a pick that still, especially as you get deeper into Fearless, does have a decent amount of power. I'm worried about it being picked up this early, because I do think that Wukong still will get a ton of room to play.
Okay.
And the Alistar comes through pretty early on here. We'll be able to secure that this time around. And the Poppy didn't have the impact that we were looking for, right? I think we only had a couple of ultimates, and they were mostly used just for CC, so you get the knockup, but you don't actually create a numbers advantage, and you do kind of need to find at least a couple of those to really make sure you get the value out of the pick.
And we do see the Ezreal locked in here for Furia. I like this pick a lot against Maokai because of the fact that if he uses Twisted Advance at the wrong moment, you can use Arcane Shift to take him into a very bad position.
Oh,
and
yeah.
turn his engage into your counter engage with just a single button press. As we're into the second half of the bans, Tristana banned out by Furia with the Karma removed by G2.
I was kind of thinking about that. Ezreal Karma, obviously a bot lane that goes way back. Alistar, his biggest weakness is his laning phase. Obviously, his level 1 is often talked about, but I think outside of that, you're really not expecting too much out of him when it comes to leverage. So it does also mean that I think that Varus does have some what makes it if you pair with a lane phase, the 2v2 is so oppressive. It's quite going to be the case here. As the way it does get taken off the board, something that outranges the Rise and is generally able to punish it quite well. As I like the Rumble ban, I do think Rumble, especially after the performance Gigo had, plus the fact that there's a Wukong in the game, definitely a good call.
Yeah. And also, looking at how this one's going to go, I still need to see some more follow-up engage from the side of Fury. I like that with Rel and Wukong together. I think that this is a great amount of engage for these fights for Fury to still call their shots and make their plays where they want when they want.
It's a little rough to pick Rel into Alistar, right? The reason why we saw Alistar really rise to prominence again is because he is really good into Rel. You get to counteract, interrupt a lot of that. There's also angles for you to get rid of the Wukong, keep your backline safe. The Jax does come out, right? It's still on. Mobility carry at the end of the game is the Corki comes through now. I think in theory the Corki makes sense. This pick be really good when he gets to actually have laning spheres, when he really gets the money. But I do think the pick right now hasn't really been that convincing recently. The Cassante comes forward for Vigo.
And there's also no major magic damage. Yeah, splash magic damage. How can Colin go for, like, you know, the smite instantly increases the tank out of that magic damage? Varus does some magic, Jax does some magic, but there's no real big mage threat like in the presence of the Rise on Furious comp. So this last pick, Cassante, for Gigo, a character that loves to be able to just say, sure, I'll build a Jax show and then nothing but armor, is fantastic, I feel like.
And we did, of course, see a ton of outplay. It was a little stronger during the which is obviously kind of back towards. But let's be real, Flowers, game one, the draft wasn't really the issue. Like, obviously, I think playing a dive comp like that into a Neela can always feel a little rough, but that's not really what the game boiled down to. It was just a level of cohesion that was shown by Fury that was miles ahead of what G2 were able to do. Were able to set up a ton of traps. And this is going to have to be a very important game. If G2 want to really get control in this series, they need to catch this game. Because if that's I think, I mean, I don't have to tell you about this, Flowers.
No, I'm very, very American when it comes to the my love for the NA versus EU rivalry. But we do also have to look at the G2 line, I think, when you're talking about G2 needing to win this game. When we go back and look at the lane phase, just like the very early mid-game of game number one, it was Hans and Labrov who had that individual advantage in their own lane, right? It was like almost a 4-wave lead over IU. That's really impressive in terms of what they were able to build just in what was mostly isolated. So if they can manage to turn that into a win condition, that might be the key.
I'm also willing to bet that Broken Blade isn't going to get himself solo killed this time around. Did take a lot of risks in the last game, which introduced an additional level of volatility. But for me, the biggest contributor, again, and I'm going to keep going back to this, I need to see more cohesion, because it felt like no two members of G2 were ever on the same page. Because this wasn't just, you know, obviously we talk about like mid-jungle, jungle support, but I feel like all of the members just felt like they were on very different pages, and clearly not going to be able to get away with that.
Looks like we might have a bit of a delay on stage here for some kind of technical issue. Hopefully they'll be able to get that one resolved here as soon as possible, get us into the game. I also think talking about, you know, taking risks for Broken Blade there in the top lane, it's the nature of the champion. The only way Warwick is good is you have to play on the edge. You have to allow him to bait opponents in, use that low life bar to really give yourself an opportunity you wouldn't otherwise have. So now you're playing Jax, it's a much more standard type of character. You don't have to really hurt the edge.
You really don't. Jax will always get good value. It's just a very versatile character. Let's move on to team fights. Do you think that after all the changes that we've had to Cassante, he actually has a very solid matchup early on, right? I think Cassante, in mind of many, is still that tank that's okay in lane, but really is about afterwards. I do think you can get way more done. That is some wonderful cosplay there.
That's some powerful cosplay, ears and hair there. I like that. I respect that. But yeah, Cassante, I mean, I think for a lot of people, the number one thing that comes to mind when you think Cassante is still the showmaker pasta.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is a character that if he gets out of control is truly all out of control. And that's what we've seen Gigo do in game number one. And we'll see if he can repeat that success here in game number two. Let's check it out as we're on to the Rift now. Furia this time from the red side, G2 over on blue, Caps on the Corki taking